Let's get it. All right, people. We back for another one. It's Toso and Willie. Mental health talks, number infinity. We don't know, but we gonna keep going.
We just keep going.
Just keep going. Just keep going. That's the mood. Honestly, I feel like one of the things that makes me part of the reason that I admire you, Willie, is because you just keep me going in a way. Because sometimes I feel like I just want to be like, it's not really like the traction might not be where I see it. I want to kind of do something else, but I feel like it's one of those things that's so important to at least keep showing up. And at the end of the day, the people that really vibe with it are going to get something from it. And so it's almost selfish for me to say nah, because in a way that's just keeping all of those things to myself, you keeping those things to yourself. And so we're just going to keep going, going to keep rolling with it. Today, we're going to talk about love. What is it? How is it? Do we express it today? What is the necessity of love in terms of mental health? A lot of times we think of love and we say like, I love that book. I love this water bottle because it holds my water. I love pizza, but is that really love? Because if that's what love really is, then we might be in some trouble. A lot of what love is has not been accounted for in our day and age. We just say the word, but we don't know what it references. We don't know what the actual core of the idea is. So before we even get into this conversation, I just want to give a quick overview of the different dimensions of love, at least from a sort of a biblical, but more so like a Greco-historical perspective of how they've seen love in the past. So there's three types of love. There's Phileo, there's Eros, and then there's Agape, which is, ironically enough, tattooed on me. That's the one that I think we should all ascribe to. That third one is Agape love. So Phileo love is where the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, gets its name from. That's the type of love that you have for a brother. Communal, kind of, what's up, my guy? Phileo. Then you got Eros, which is where you get the word erotic. That's where you get that more passionate type of love, that love that you would have between two life partners, two people that are really trying to build on more than just a familial level, right? And then you have agape love. And that's the type of love that I want to kind of delve into today. It's the type of love that is what they call unconditional. Without condition means that there's nothing that I need from you in order for me to express this love. It just is. And that's the love I think that we need to start having for each other. But before we get too deep into it, how you doing this week? How you feeling? I see you got your Assassin's Creed vibes on you, ready to knock out some demons. How you feeling?
Man. Hey, bro, you hit it on key. I'm ready to, and it's ready to take offense.
Yeah.
You know, I'm putting on the whole gear. I'm putting on the whole armor. And, to say I'm looking outside right now and the sun isn't shining, it isn't.
Oh.
It's raining.
Okay.
It's pouring down right now. It's really? The middle of, it's 12 o'clock over here, 1 o'clock. And I haven't seen the sun yet.
Dang.
But I feel warm inside. You feel me? And so I still look out the window and I still smile, bro.
That's what's up. Plus, even though you don't see it, does that mean it's not there? You know? Sometimes we got to understand that it's always there, but sometimes the situation, the season, the whatever, and we about to head into that daylight savings time, whatever they talk about when they're about to put the clock back, at least they are in the UK. And so it's about to be that, we're about to get into that seasonal affective disorder, like all that winter time depression type stuff. And I do in order to stay at least above that is to continue to remember that just because I can't always see it doesn't mean it's not there. So let's go ahead and jump into it today, bro. We overuse and we misuse and misunderstand this concept of love today. And I kind of hit on that in the intro, in the opener, but I want to kind of get your perspective on what you think love is and why it's so essential to the human condition. Because a lot of times some people might even say it doesn't exist or they don't believe in it. And that's a very dangerous road to start going down, because when you don't believe in something, you act in ways that will reinforce that belief, which means that you won't love, and it perpetuates itself. Because if you don't love people and they then don't think that love exists and they act like love doesn't exist, and then they don't love people, and then it becomes a chain reaction. It's like the opposite of pay it forward. We pay it backwards in some ways. So I'm trying to figure out what your perspective on that is.
And that's a deep thought.
I'm hitting you.
All I could do is express it through a rhythm, through a rhyme, through a song. You know, one song in particular comes to my mind when I think about the word love is, how's it go? Is what is love? If you're not here for me, what is love? And it's like, what is love if you're not here for me?
Yeah.
And
so love is presence in a way.
Exactly. Love is being there no matter what, unconditionally. Love is being in the rain. Love is being in the sun. Love is no matter what's going on, you're here. You're listening. You're attentive. You're
there. It's like this intimacy. It's like this. You are experiencing life with that person, and maybe not even just that person. Maybe with that community, with that whatever. It's integration in a way. It's combination. It's like you are allowing yourself to not, it's like deeper than empathy, because empathy just means I understand where you're coming from. But love is like, I am literally in your shoes. I'm experiencing this with you. I'm allowing whatever you're feeling to wash over me too. It's a weird, it's kind of tough to explain it. And that's the thing with words. A friend of mine, his name is Colton Harris. He's a really talented musician. He said one time to me, and these words stuck with me. He said, words are the shaky bridge with which we send out our thoughts into the world. And so it's like you have words, but they don't really represent the thing. They just kind of try to point you towards the thing. And so we have this word love, but in many ways, we don't even know what it means. So when we say it to somebody, a lot of times they don't even know what we mean. Or they like, people can say it and mean completely different things. Like I started off with, like you can love your favorite pen, but that's not the same love you should have for a human being. But because we have this word so mixed up, we don't really understand it because it doesn't really vibe with us. It's the same word that we use for all of these different things. And that's one of the things I actually think is dangerous about the English language. We talked about this before with languages, is that there is some sense that because we don't have the specific labels for things that maybe are the deeper truths, we end up forgetting what the deeper truths are and end up just pursuing the surface level thing. Like when you think about, this is a common example people use, but the Eskimos have like 50 different words for snow. And the reason is because that's a part of their daily reality. And so they have the word for slushy snow. They have the word for light snow. They have the word for heavy snow. They have and all of these words help inform them. Like when they talk to each other in the morning, like, oh, it's snowing outside. They don't just say snow. They say, oh, it's this outside. And they know exactly what type of preparation they need to do to go out into the world. Whereas we just use the word snow because it's not something that we daily have to experience. So it's good enough, right? So when we use the word love, maybe we're missing so many different dimensions of it because we don't necessarily engage in it as often as we should. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like we don't have all the dimensions of love because we've just said, well, it's like, what is love? Right? Like we don't know, man. We really don't know in some ways. And it's when you're there with somebody, but it's also some other things too. And I wanted to kind of get your perspective on just how we get to love. Like we talked last week about evolution. And the idea of evolving is to essentially transcend ourselves in the state we're at now to become the people that we are meant to be, like our highest selves. And I think that our highest possible self is the self that is vibrating on the plane of love. Like that's the only thing that's going to last forever, right? And so if we're evolving towards love, we should probably know what love is, or else we might devolve or evolve in the wrong direction. So I want to know, like, what is the cause of our indifference today? Like, why are we so lackadaisical about this idea of love? Like, why don't people care? Like, why? I know you're a very passionate person. You're an artistic person, and I see all the stuff that you be putting out there about like, yo, we got to support each other, we got to uplift each other, and like, it seems like people don't hear it or they just don't want to see it. I don't know, but like, why do you think we're so just not really caring?
I asked God to show me love. He showed me what it wasn't.
Man.
And to say, bro, that was a thought that I had to put it into a song just to express what I felt at the moment. And I was like, God, where's love? Where's love? Everyone around me is showing you something.
Mm.
What are these people showing you? What do they have the capability to show you? Do people even have the capability to show love? Do people even have the capability to show that they care? And so I was like, God, show me love.
I think they do, though. I think people have the capacity, they just don't have the will. I don't know what you think about that, because I feel like people they can, because they're human beings. We can love, but it's a matter of if I want to, because loving means also exposing yourself. In some ways, people don't want to do that today because they've been hurt in the past, right?
Mm.
So it's like your experience tells you not to love. Everything around you is telling you not to love. You were telling me before we started recording that you're trying to speak up for these kids that you're working with, but all the incentives around you are telling you to look the other way, to not care, to not. But you, because you're built different, you're going to keep on speaking up and you're going to keep on loving on these kids because that's the person you are. But somebody who might not have that sort of internal fortitude, that character, they might just go with the flow and leave these kids behind. So sometimes to love doesn't necessarily mean to be nice. It means to speak up, right? Like it means to be in truth. It means, I like what you said. I asked God to show me love and he showed me what it was. And I thought I heard this quote. It's like, I asked God, where is love or how to love? And he gave me unlovable people. It's like sometimes you ask God for the thing and he gives you what will help you develop that thing. Like you ask God for strength and he gives you a tough situation. You ask God for wisdom and he gives you something that you have to work through, right? So it's like sometimes it's you got to be careful when you ask for these big things.
Be careful. Be very careful. And
Oh.
the price of knowing that someone is with you is
that's priceless, man.
It's priceless. You can't.
It means the world, though, and it's man, you can't put a number on it.
And so you try to express love in words. You try to express love in a value of speech. There's no way. Because you can't put a price of it on it. You can't put words on it. It's just I'm here. I'm for you. I feel you. I connected with you. Like you said, I'm integrated with you. And bro, and these talks have been nonetheless, but spiritual in a sense of just, I don't even feel like it's me personally talking, but my soul is literally being poured out as we have these discussions. And as I look at you to say, I don't even see you, I see me. And in all reality of just saying, brother, I love you. That's and love. To say that
I love you too, man.
And to feel it. Yeah. And to know that, you know, we got to be here for each other.
Got to.
Who else is going to help us out?
Man, it's this love idea that makes it so, as you said, bro, it's like the words don't even do it justice. I almost feel like a fraud sometimes trying to tell people I love them because I know that it doesn't mean the same thing as what I truly feel inside. It's like I'm trying to express this thing to you, but I can't. It's like what do they say sometimes? Like, don't tell me, show me. It's that idea, like just being there, just continuing to speak, continuing to show that you care for a person. And sometimes the best way you can show you care for a person is just to keep on being there, bro. And so in a way, that's some of the, like we talk sometimes maybe we haven't spoke about this, but there's this idea about love languages and how we each kind of have different dimensions of how we give and receive love. And I haven't taken a test in a while. Like it was way back when I was still in a marriage relationship. But I remember that I had this idea that a lot of the ways that I give love are intangible. They don't have to do with like physical gifts. They have to do more with the way I'm expressing my presence with you in that space, in that time. And that's tough to show people when you're not in that space with them, because they just see the characters on the screen, or they just see the emotion that you're putting on. They just see the outward expression, right? But they don't see the heart. And it's hard to communicate the heart when you don't have the words for it, bro. When the same word that I would use to say my favorite fountain pen has no bearing to what I feel for even for you, for example. You said that, yo, the way that we have these conversations, I have the same feeling. I feel sometimes like I'm just being flowed through, like I'm just a channel. And this is just us having real life talks. Like we are different manifestations, different dimensions of God. And in a way, it's like God having a conversation with himself. And so we're just kind of like, we're just on this plane trying to work things out with our limited perspectives. And God is just trying to show people something real through us. And hopefully they can get something out of it. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's not even me. It just is. And it's really hard to explain this stuff to people without sounding esoteric and weird. So it just write you off like, oh, that nigga not talking about nothing. Like, man, bro. I feel like there's something about this knowing yourself and then giving yourself that also plays into it. It's like this authenticity that has to go along with love. And we talked about that way. I think that might have been one of the first few talks, is that idea of mental health is this idea of awareness, knowing yourself, right? And it's really hard to give of yourself if you don't even know who you are. That's why I kind of ordered these in this way. It's like we should grow in all of these stages. And after we begin that process, we can eventually graduate to this love. This is almost the pinnacle of being human, is loving. And I want to understand too, you said love is being there with each other. And I feel like there's this continuum of convenience to intimacy. There's this continuum where you have people will put up with you. People will hate you, then they will put up with you, then they might like you, then they might enjoy your company, but then there's love where they are with you no matter what, whether or not they like. And it's just like, where are you on that continuum? Because honestly, at the end of the day, I think I would rather have somebody truly just hate me than to be indifferent. Because that if you're indifferent, then I can't even connect with you at all. It's really hard for me to have any sort of, I can't get a response out of you. So I almost feel like we have to get away from this sense of, oh, I just like that person because they scratch this itch for me right now, and get to a place where I love this person regardless of what they say, regardless of what they do, because that's who I am, right? It's almost like when in 1 John 4:16 says God is love. That means that he loves regardless of what we do. And so if we are God, then we should also be love. That doesn't mean that we are perfect, but that means that we should be able to express this thing that we call love, regardless of how people treat us. And it's becoming very, very difficult today because a lot of people just don't have that experience of even being loved. It's like
mental health. And now bro, working in the field and seeing these adolescents growing, and it's like, who are they learning from? And most importantly, what do you teach a child first? And to say that majority of these children with the autistic behavioral problems, some of them kind of come off as destructive, or for better words, lack of showing love for self and others.
Yeah.
What do you teach a child like that then? How do you teach a child like that then? Where do we go wrong in a community where a child didn't receive love and now they're acting out that in forms of mental attacks with their health, physically, emotionally, spiritually, where it's just, they don't know what to do now. And like you said, they don't even know their self. They don't even know where they came from.
They don't know
And if they
themselves,
try to talk to their parents are so absorbed in their life and work, where like they're teaching the child, oh, all I need to do is grow up and go to school to find a job and work, and I'll be happy. And I'll quote unquote love what I have.
teaching them the wrong things. Because we teach them by what we do, right? So it's like, if you have a kid who's self-destructive and doesn't love himself, like you got kids who just completely on the other end of it, neurodivergent or autistic or whatever, to the point where they're banging heads on the wall. They're whatever it is, they don't even understand anything. And how are you going to show that person love in a way that's authentic? How are we supposed to show that person that, look, there's some other dimension to life here that you're missing? Because they've never even seen it. How will they even respond to something that they can't even recognize? It's like we have to start from level one and really start to just show small acts of, whether it's kindness or just care for somebody. And a lot of times they're going to reject it because they don't recognize it, but it's continuing to persist in those things. That's why you said it. It has to be unconditional. You have to be there. It has to be something where you continue in it, or else it just loses all of its impact. The second you walk away, they know, okay, that's just another one bites the dust, another person who just pretended, another person who was just there for the convenience.
And that's what they're learning from us, bro. And I'm sorry, man.
No, go.
Bro, it hits me because I feel it. And it's like, I have a personal connection with all of my clients to where it's like, I'm not working. You know, it's not a job for me, but they see me, I look into their eyes. And to say when I walk around and they can feel my presence. And just this week, bro, as I'm trying to find my footing in this workspace, I've experienced adults that have been under this operation system of not knowing how to show love. And so, like you said, if you show somebody love and they never experienced it before, it's like, you know, it's frustrating, but try doing that to a grown adult and they've never seen it before. So they're already 40 years, 50 years programmed into saying, hey, this world is full of hate. So when you got someone as myself, as you, who is speaking, who is being positive, who is unconditionally, bro, I get spit in my face and I still wipe it off and keep it moving. And it irritates them. It irritates.
They can't understand it. I think that's why they hated Jesus, to be honest with you, because he was loving in a period where it shouldn't have been no love. That's why they hate folks like us, bro. Because you can't, if we keep loving on folks, it's like, why? Because that's like saying that you have no excuse now to be hateful, and they don't want to have to experience that or face up to that they've learned something wrong for 50 years. And like, it almost feels like, oh, we're being the frauds because we're showing kindness and we're showing love. Oh, they're so fake. Why is that what's fake? Why is not, like, it's cool to be a cynic today. It's cool to be hateful today. It's cool to be, oh, nothing really matters. Like, oh, everything. Like, it's like, that's what's cool now, to be a nihilist, to be a whatever. Like, and so it's getting to that point where if that is what is cool, then what are we teaching the kids? Are we going to just tell them, oh, be nice? Why? Oh, be kind? Why? Oh, show love? Why? There has to be a reason why. And if you're not rooting that why in something that is real, everything falls down. And so that's why we have to get back to something real. We can't just show the outward expression of it, faking it, and pretend that it's going to be okay, because everyone is soon going to know that it's all fake. And if y'all are not showing what's real, it's going to be a very dangerous, dangerous future. We're already partially in it, where everything is plastic, everything is fake, everything is manufactured. Even love in some cases has become manufactured, where people show fake love in order to get something from you, bro. They will show you fake love so that they can play you later. It's such a sick world out here, bro. And it's like, why are we doing this to ourselves? We're playing ourselves. Like, we really got to watch out, because there's not a lot of real left. And if we keep on playing with the real ones to the point where they give up, I'm not saying that's me or you, but I'm saying there's some people out here that on the fence. They're like, yo, why do I even have to keep doing this when I could just go out and hit a lick and do my own thing? Like, we getting close to that point, and we got to be very careful, because if we get to a point where everybody's thinking like that, that's just a dangerous place to be, man. A dangerous, dangerous place to be. And I just fear for the kids, bro. I know you talk about the adults too, but your heart, and I think my heart is more so with the kids, because those are the people that are going to grow up in this world. Those are the people that are going to change the next generation. Those are the people that are going to set the standard. And I'm not even necessarily about myself at this point. I don't even care, bro. It's like, I might not change the world. Maybe all my dreams about trying to change the world, maybe they go to nothing. But I want to help inspire somebody who can. I want to help be the change that I can at least pass something good down this timeline of humanity. Because right now we're throwing our crap down to the next generation like it's nothing. Like, we're not doing any self-introspection. We're not doing any therapy to help ourselves mentally. We're not doing anything to help us to get a better hold on the world. And so what happens? We just throw our crap on the next people. And then they're going to have just a mountain of crap from all these generations. And what are they going to do? They're probably going to just throw it on to the next one, because they don't know. And so it has to stop somewhere. Somebody's got to be like, no, it's time to take all this and put it in the trash. Even if it's not my stuff, I got to start doing something. And that's the work that you're doing. And I'm grateful for you, because there's not a lot of people like that that are really out here doing the real stuff, bro. It's so many people that are just faking it. And it really hurts my heart. I don't want to get too crazy with it, or too passionate, or too like even sad, because I feel like I might be borderline just like breaking down on something, because to me, it's too much. It's too much conditions we're placing on love. And if we're trying to get to unconditional love, then that unconditional means no conditions. It means absolute. It means it doesn't matter. It means you just give it. You give because that's who you are. It's to love is not to like somebody. Matter of fact, let's talk about that a little bit. I feel like there's a little bit of a convolution sometimes. People think that, quote unquote, being nice outwardly or just liking somebody is the same thing as loving somebody. And I feel like that's something that's not right at all. What you think about that?
Completely backwards. And I honestly, personally, me dealing with my lady, and she has a child from another man. It's like, do I love another man's child? Do I even show love to something that's not even my responsibility? But he's here all the time. Yeah. And it's like, the father doesn't really discipline him, or doesn't really show him any direction, doesn't really give him any manly,
just advice, or just just something to steer him.
Yeah. So it's like he'll come around me and I'll give him a stern direction. And my lady will look at me and like, why are you being mean to him? But then he'll look at me and say, okay, I get it. So yeah, she may think that I'm being mean to him, but in all essence, he's
He
a little
is.
man.
He is.
He's going to understand. Hold on. He's giving me a direction that I need to do in order to help me.
He probably knows us from love too. He might not fully know it, but he understands to some degree that the people that are being hard on me, or at least are being real with me to the point where they can give me a stern word, those are the people that actually want to see me succeed. They want to actually see me grow. Because a lot of people don't get that. And I think that's why God made men the way men are and made women the way they are. That's why women should not be, and I don't want to get into the whole political thing, but it's too many single mothers out here. Let's just put it at that, where you have kids, boys that are growing up and remaining boys because they never had a man to speak truth in a hard way. Because sometimes we need that. We need a hard word. We don't need to be babied all the time and talk soft to like if everything is okay. That's how you grow up and become a big boy, an old boy who's still playing with women, who's still misogynistic, who's still whatever. Those are the people that grew up because they don't understand what love is, bro. They don't know because they've never been told off. They've never even been like, it's always just been, oh, well, it is what it is. I understand. No, sometimes you got to be like, yo, we got to have a real talk about this because this is unacceptable. And they know it. Most of the time, like, we think about us when we were kids. We would act up sometimes just to see if somebody would say something. You know, we would do something just because to see, test the waters. And if nobody said nothing, we'd be like,
keep doing it.
And that's how you grow in habits. That's how you begin to form those habits that are not serving you, not serving society, not serving your family, not serving anybody. But nobody had the gall, nobody had the balls to tell you no. Everybody wanted to play patty cake. Nobody wanted to give you a little, hey, be a man.
Don't do this. Don't head down that direction because I know where it's at.
Yeah.
And to say, is that love telling somebody, hey, look out over there. I know what's going on. So
that's real love.
Really gotta, hey,
truth say that somebody to tell the truth, that is love. To tell somebody the truth, even if it's hard. People think that if you say the truth, it means that you don't like them. But no, that's the opposite. The people that aren't telling you the truth are the people that don't care where you end up. They cool if you just keep doing your dumb stuff because to them, it's like, well, but to people that are actually willing to put themselves in the fire to tell you what's real, those are the people that you need to keep close. Like everyone wants to say, oh, you shouldn't surround yourself with yes men. Then they go and surround themselves with yes men. It's like, why would you do that? You need somebody who's going to give you another perspective, or else you're going to be in your tunnel thinking you right. And you're going to end up coming out that tunnel with a rude awakening. And you're going to be like, why did nobody say anything? And they're going to say, well, you wanted to do this. You wanted to, didn't you? And you have nothing to say, but well, yeah. So unless you have somebody who's close to you, who's willing to say the hard things, you might not be in a loving relationship, homie. Or family, whoever's out there listening, you might need somebody who is willing to be truthful to a point where it feels like it's hard. It feels like it might be hateful, and I think maybe let's even start closing up, but not too fast. I want to think about this idea too of, because you don't want to be somebody who's always hateful or always telling somebody off. So it's this balance, right? Like they gotta know that you actually care for them, so that when you do give them that stern word, it's coming from a place of, I know that person cares for me. It's not somebody just trying to dog me all the time and always trying to say I shouldn't do something. So that's why I guess there's got to be this balance. Like, what do you think about that? Like, do you, with this little man that you got in the house that you helping to raise, in a way, even though it's not your biological son, you are putting in characteristics into this kid to where he'll grow up and he'll remember you as somebody who was formative in his life. So whether you like it or not, you are in a way his father figure. And so I feel like that's something that is both a privilege and a struggle, bro. And so I'm not going to be somebody who's going to give you all roses, but like, and say like, oh, it's all easy and pink and everything. But it's definitely something where, like, how do you do it? Like, do you encourage him a lot and then chastise him a little, or do you have like a 50-50, or is it something where you just kind of like, wherever it comes up, you just...
It's definitely a 50-50 thing.
Okay.
And to be honest, I treat him the same way I would treat my own biological son.
That's right.
And to say that, all I could do is show him what I do. He sees me over here doing push-ups in the morning, lifting my weights, and he comes over here and try to lift up the weights. And I say, lift up this weight. He's like, man, that's too heavy. I say, you'll get there. Keep on doing this with me. We'll get it together. He sees me over here making t-shirts. He's like, I need to make t-shirts. I'm like, I got you. Let's go get you some t-shirts. Let's make them. And so, yeah, it comes a point in time where he's talking. I'm like, stop talking, or give him a direction to go do something. And I say it in the stern voice.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, there's times when we're creating, when we're making music. Like, of course, he's starting to see me as someone he can be around to enjoy. And it's like, there was a thing in my mind where it was like, how can I even love another woman who has a child by somebody else? Or how can I even call that person my family? Because deep down inside, it's going to be a conflict there, because you're not really my responsibility. But if I am who I say I am, and if love unconditionally is what I'm here to do, then
that's it.
To say that when I'm making music, when I'm making my t-shirts, when I'm trying to be healthy, I'm giving him the same, hey, drink this smoothie, dude. Lift these weights, dude.
Yeah.
Come make these t-shirts, I got a plan for us. Because at the end of the day, I want to show him something that the majority of people even see.
That's love, bro. That's a beautiful image that you just painted. And in some ways that might even be a training ground for when you do have your own seed. You are in the same way that you're teaching him, in some ways he's teaching you about how to be a better man, because you got to be a very bigger man in so many ways to do that. And I applaud you. But it's also teaching you to become that person that when you do have your kid, it'll come naturally to you. Being somebody who shows love but shows a stern word is something that there's not a lot of strong fathers out here. And so somebody who's willing to do that is somebody who I feel like we need to celebrate as a society, as a community, collectively. That's the idea. Like we always talk about, oh, no man is stepping up, but when men do step up, what do? Are we celebrating them, or are we just continuing to pretend that they don't exist?
Oh, he's a stamp. Like, he's
doing
taking
the
care of
exact
somebody.
opposite. We doing that. We chastising the people that are being good to our women. Like where do we think this ends? Like we really don't think these things through. We just go with the flow of society and say, oh, this meme is funny. Let's go ahead and dog this person. Like, what? Did you think about that? Or you just want to laugh at the crowd? Everybody just wants to laugh at the crowd. Oh, crowd's laughing. What are they laughing about? I want to laugh at it too. Haha. Whole time you laughing at yourself. The way you said that we talking to ourselves, you laughing at yourself. That's you over there that you laughing at.
Oh.
Love is like a glue in a way. And I'll end with this thought, and we could kind of rip on this and see where it goes. Because I feel like love is this, it's like gravity. It's something that holds us together. And if we don't have that gravity, we keep on drifting further and further apart. And so that strong love at the center of our humankind universe is beginning to get weaker and weaker. And we're drifting further and further. You can give it like a solar system, you got the sun in the middle, and that sun is beginning to go through its process of death. And if we don't inject it with some new fuel, we just gonna be floating throughout the universe with no central anchor that we're all orbiting around. And if we don't have that, then we might start running into each other with our problems, with our hatred, and we might self-implode. There's unity, and then there's tribalism. And essentially, the way we started off is the way I'll end it. What is love? Being there. And there's something about intimacy that requires vulnerability. And there's something about intimacy that requires us to be there, be together in our brokenness. It's like, there's this word, this Japanese concept called kintsugi. kintsugi or kintsugi. There's both words, but I think they both mean the same thing. It's this idea of broken pottery that they glue back together with this golden adhesive. And so you have maybe you drop a bowl and it's all broken. In America, we just put it in the garbage can, throw it out. But in Japan, what they do is they take this adhesive and it's gold, it sparkles, and they glue it back together. And what happens is that the end result, that bowl actually is more beautiful than it was when it was whole, because it has a story. And so in our brokenness, there can be beauty if we allow ourselves to show it to each other. But we have to be willing to be with each other. We have to be willing to stay with each other and to work through those hard times and to work through those broken times and to work through those down times, to be broken together. And when we're broken together, something beautiful happens. And that's when I think love begins to swell up, and we won't even have to use the word anymore, because we'll just all know what it is instinctively. I'll just look at you and you'll look at me and I'll look at them. We'll just be smiling. We'll be just like
smiles.
Smiles.
You can see people singing. You can see people dancing.
It'll be a beautiful day.
And I'm still a person who believes. I'm still a person who sees. I'm still a person who has vision. I'm still a person who dreams. I'm still a person who knows that even though it's raining, that means that it's nourishing the garden. And so when the sun comes out, those flowers gonna be beaming, they're gonna be dancing, they're gonna be singing.
Yeah.
So who else looks outside and see rain and can still vision the sunny days? So that's what I think love is. Love is seeing those sunny days even through the rain, and being there in the rain and still dancing, still singing. You so when everybody just starts moving in compassion and knowing that I'm not doing this for myself, but I'm doing this for the next person for me, then it'll be returned times 10 as I'm walking outside and I look down and something told me to turn around and go the other way. So I turned around and went the other way. I looked down and I'm not big on finances and nothing like that, but just to see $5 on the ground, and it was just like, it was a message to me saying, hey, I'm gonna provide for you no matter what. Even though it was just $5, I was just like, because in the back of my head, I'm thinking about my job and, everything's just all over the place as far as what I'm gonna do next. I look down and I see, what more needs to be said? What made me turn around? What made me go back the way that I wasn't going and say, hey, walk this way so that you can see this message that's on the ground? I always stay graced, always stay clothed in faith, always believe that whatever it is that you need help in life, you will be supplied. And I don't think many people hear that. And so you got people running around, like you said, it's like the sun has exploded and gravity has pushed the planets out in their own direction. And it's like, where are they going? And just to have that security of warmth, security of orbit, security of just knowing that, hey, we all connected and I got you. We're going someplace. Matter of fact, we're growing someplace. So,
man, I love it. I'll just end this with saying, I love you, bro. And I appreciate it.
I love you too, man. I appreciate it.
Man,
yeah.
I pray that you got something out of this, whoever's watching, from the 7 people. Hey, we're doing it for y'all. So leave a like, maybe leave a comment, maybe subscribe, help a brother out. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you can to help us out. And we'll be back again next week talking about, what are we going to talk about? I'm not even sure yet. I got so many notes on this thing, but we'll figure it out. and we'll talk about something next week. This has been another edition of Mental Health Talks with me, Toso. You can find me on all the socials at Time to Grow Dude. Willie, you can find him, Faith and Desire, the clothing brand. Find him at Divine Lee Arts. I'm not sure which one it is now. It's Divine Lee, right?
Yeah, Divine Lee.
Divine Lee with 3 eyes. You already know what it is. Much love to y'all. Stay wavy, stay groovy, stay in love. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.